The Moonblade, a legendary magical item for Dungeons & Dragons, a longsword with many different properties that you can pick or have determined randomly. However, being an elven artifact, it is only attunable by elves and half-elves. The item bonds for life until it absorbs your soul when you die. Wait, what? First, I'd like to thank Colossal Miniatures for sponsoring this video. Colossal Miniatures is dedicated to sculpting high-quality 3D printer STL files. These are custom-made fantasy miniatures that you can download and print using your 3D printer. Colossal Miniatures has a Patreon where you can snag tons of downloadable files for only $9 a month. Or check out their mini factory repository for individual prices. If you have access to a 3D printer, this is an amazing resource and you can run games with some truly unique monsters. Check out the link in the description below, and thanks again, Colossal Miniatures. Hello everybody, Jordan here, the PH is silent, and we are examining the lore, history, and magic of the Moonblade. A Forgotten Realms legendary magic item. It has some really fun abilities that are great for any melee combatant, but mostly magic users. After researching this, I think it's a great fit for an Eldritch Knight fighter, a Bladesinger wizard, or a melee bard. Now, to clarify, we're talking about the magical item Moonblades, which is a single word. There is a 3rd edition spell called Moonblade, which is 2 separated words, and this spell creates a sword from moonlight, so they're different. Moonblades are an elvish creation and are passed down along elf lineages. The sword you wield might have been your father's, and it was probably your grandmother's, and so on. They are called Moonblades because they are made by moon elves, also known as silver elves, and a magical moonstone is placed in the pommel. Moonstones are magical gems found in Faerun that have a variety of uses. They capture light and glow in darkness for a set amount of time, and the dust of a moonstone can be used in place of certain spell components. Many races wear moonstones as jewelry. The moon elves crafted these long swords with the moonstone attached to the pommel to enchant the blade. In ancient times, the blades were given to all of the elven noble houses, but over the centuries, many of these famous blades were lost. It is a rarity to find one nowadays. The Moonblade passes from parent to child and forms a bond with that person. If no child is present, the sword becomes dormant and will not activate its magical powers. In the event there is no sire to inherit the blade, the sword picks someone who is worthy to claim its power, kind of like Mjolnir. The blade serves one master at a time, and to attune to it requires a special elven ceremony. If you want to incorporate all this into your campaign, that's fine, but I wouldn't be afraid to have the sword act uncharacteristic and just choose the PC who is worthy. Moonblades are considered good, so anyone who is erratic, corrupt, or unfriendly to elves will not unlock the sword's true power. And trying to attune to a Moonblade and having it reject you, well, you'll be knocked for a magical loop and have disadvantage on all ability checks, saving throws, and attacks for 24 hours. Along the blade of a Moonblade, there are runes, and each rune represents a previous master. The sword gains one magical property for each rune it has on its blade. The older the sword and the more masters it's had empowers the blade. Thus, each campaign that has a Moonblade could potentially be different, or if a Moonblade is transferred from character to character, it becomes more powerful with each new owner. Each previous owner imparts their magic power or skill into the sword from the moonstone in the pommel. Tied to the sword for life, when the owner dies, their life essence goes into the Moonblade. Your life literally powers the magic for the next owner. Also, this process makes it a sentient item that can communicate with feelings and occasionally dreams and visions during trance. A great DM tool. But wow, look at some of these properties the sword can have. Now you can roll randomly and you'll most likely receive a +1 increase to attack and damage, or a minor property from the special features list. Although that's really cool, these special features are mostly fun magical quirks. Rolling higher, and you can have a Moonblade that functions as a defender sword, which allows you to transfer your bonus to damage and hit into AC. It could score critical hits on a 19 or 20, be used as a ring of spell storing, or summon an elf shadow to protect you. You could even make up your own properties, making this item unique to your campaign. For the Jedi Bladesinger wizard that I want to play, I would like the finesse property, the +1 attack and damage, and the ring of spell storing. That would be perfect. There have been a few notable Moonblades that have made their way into Forgotten Realms canon. One such Moonblade is the Starum Moonblade, and it is a dark blade with a straight edge and contains 5 runes. This weapon was also known as Dark Moon and was forged in Mythdraenor centuries before the Time of Troubles. After Mythdraenor opened up and allowed non-elves to live in the city, one noble family, the Starum family, left and went to live in the Thunder Peaks. However, many years later, after the Starum family was forgotten, a distant relative returned to Mythdraenor. The fun thing about tabletop RPG rules is you can break them. So your Moonblade might start out good and become corrupted somehow. Case in point, the Starum Moonblade originally was to be held by a good person whose wish is to uplift elven society. Unfortunately, this turned full Slytherin, and some xenophobic elves who inherited the Moonblade let some of their hatred of non-elves imprint onto the Moonblade. Dark Moon thus gained a special purpose, and was exceedingly good at destroying humans and half-elves. This Moonblade of the Forgotten Realms seeks a pure-blooded elf of the clan Starum, but it will settle for any pure-blooded elf in its eyes that would allow its darker purpose to be fulfilled: the annihilation of humans on Faerun. Some believe the sword's intended purpose is to lead, seeking an elf that could take over the throne of Evermeet. A fun PC elf side quest would be to locate and destroy this particular corrupted Moonblade. Dark Moon was a +3 longsword, +5 versus humans and half-elves. Sentient with chaotic evil alignment, it is power-hungry. It has various magical abilities that can be customized based on the Dungeon Master's Guide tables, and if you're not meant to hold the sword, it deals 8d6 lightning damage to its wielder every round. Attuning with it can be a difficult process. Also, please note, this item is technically considered cursed. Once you attune to this Moonblade, you can't leave. If separated from the Moonblade for longer than 24 hours, you die. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing for more. I release new videos every week. Thanks again, Colossal Miniatures, for sponsoring this video. If you have a 3D printer and want some really great STL files for miniatures, check out the link below. For just $9 a month, you can receive 41+ miniature files. They are ever growing, with more artists creating new miniatures to print, either through their Patreon or website. Check out Colossal Miniatures today, link in the description below. I have some exciting videos coming up, everybody, so stay tuned, and thanks. I will see you all in the next video.